Hey everyone, Mike here for MyKeyReviews. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to get the String It Together trophy in Sackboy A Big Adventure. So to get this trophy you will need to obviously unlock all the time trials, and you need to gold them as well, so you need to get a gold in all 15 time trials. That will in turn unlock the 16th time trial, which is hidden, and that is called the Ripsnorter. This is effectively all the levels that you've done beforehand mashed together in one big one, not necessarily in the same order. And you need to achieve a time of under 10 minutes to get that gold trophy. And that in itself isn't actually that hard to do, so you don't really need to take many shortcuts. You don't have to go out of your way to get the little time bonuses like the little clock, which is a -2 second, or the big one, which is a -5 second bonus. And the other thing as well, there's quite a few times when actually you can kind of take your time, take it a little bit easy. I managed to get a time of 8 minutes 25, and I wouldn't say I was overly rushing it. The only thing that I would recommend you doing is, because rolling is a big factor in this game, like whenever you can roll, I would recommend rolling because it is faster. So go into your settings in accessibility and put the rolling onto hold if you haven't done so already. This basically means that when you press circle you can hold it down and your character will continue to roll. Anyway, let's get into the gameplay. As soon as the gates open, go straight into the roll and jump over any gaps. Obviously keeping an eye on those rolling Yetis. With this level it's very easy just to basically navigate your way through, ignore any of the clocks which aren't in your path. And you can see it's fairly easy, just literally jump, roll, jump, roll, jump, roll. And yeah, as soon as you've got the Yetis, just make sure that you jump over them, or if you have already jumped, do that double jump and it'll just prolong you in the air a little bit longer. With the second level you can roll over a lot of these platforms, but you need to get the angle right. You can see there I kind of mucked that up, so that ruined my flow a little bit, but it didn't set me back too much. This clock here, not really much of a detour to get that, so obviously did that. And yeah, so as soon as you go over the spikes, just keep rolling when you can. I do a little jump onto the main platform purely because some of the platforms are a little bit higher, which can result in you actually hitting them and stunning Sackboy. This bit here, once again, another long stretch of platforms, so you can just easily go straight over. And the rotating platforms isn't actually as hard as it makes out. So you've got the enemies which kind of entrap you if you stay on them for long enough, but as you're rolling you can easily go all the way across them and not get eaten by them. And you'll see here as I'm rolling across, a lot of the time the platform is pretty much aligning up, like this bit here. By the time you get to the end, they've pretty much lined up, and that's what happens if you get that consistent roll flow going. Pretty much the level kind of mingles with itself. Obviously you do have to sometimes get the right angle, but relatively easy. And actually with this level I would say this is easier. There's a lot of straights to roll across, and to be honest you don't even need to do that many shortcuts. The only shortcuts I'd recommend is stuff like this, which is it's quite easy. There's clearly a platform in the middle, you just need to double jump across it, not much skill required. And there's a clock here which was in my path, so obviously I got that. Yeah, just jump on the monsters and continue. Another little shortcut there, and to be honest the safest bit. And then with this, sometimes you can glitch and fall in between the monsters and you end up dying. Very rarely happens, so don't be disheartened if that happens now and then. And with this part of the level you can see all the blocks are rotating, so they start to wobble just before they actually rotate. And try not to get too greedy with if you are rolling across them. Like I know probably a lot of people want to get a little bit further, but don't be greedy with that time because you may end up paying for it. So you can see here wobbles, and then it's about 2 seconds. So what typically I do, I find that this might not be exactly 2 seconds, but it'll wobble and I'll be like 1, 2 and then jump. So you can see there, I think I fluff up a little bit in a second. I'm a little bit too hesitant there, so I jumped a bit too early. So just try and get that timing in your head, and then you can pretty much get past that without an issue. With the torpedoes, make sure that they fire first before you start carrying on, otherwise they might catch you off guard. And you can see that it's like whenever there's an opportunity for me to roll, you know, I'll do that because obviously that's the fastest way to travel. Just keep an eye on them, you know, especially when you're that distance away. It's quite easy to see them coming. Here I have a little stop just to make sure that they, you know, fired again, and you know, this just shows that you don't really have to fully rush through it to be able to get under 10 minutes. And this bit here, once again, if you roll, you can completely avoid them. If you run, they will catch up. On this bit, I'm taking my time just a little, make sure I get past that. Oh yes, so this bit with the crabs, incredibly annoying. They can easily knock you off the edge. So once again, just take it a little bit easy. You know, you don't want to be too slow, but at the same time, don't go too fast and rush in head on. So there, I was kind of like keeping an eye out for the eels, because that can sometimes wedge you between the crabs. Alright, so here I'm jumping around them. I'm pretty sure I've done this a lot quicker before, but with this one I just wanted to be a little bit extra careful, and you can see that I kind of jump out off the platform and back in. With this eel bit, you can just jump over. These ones you can't, so just make sure one fully goes around first before you make your way forward. And this final crab bit actually is really easy. Just stay to the left, just jump back and forth. Yeah, it didn't really require much effort to get past this one. No, the jellyfish. So the first couple bits aren't too bad, you can meander around. And just remember with these bits here, the jellyfish are lighting up the path or making them visible. The path isn't moving, so you have to move with the jellyfish. And this bit I thought was quite easy. Same with this. The next bit is a bit of a mind muck up, like, because it makes the normal wooden ones invisible and the purple ones visible, and this one took me quite a few tries to kind of get my mind around it, but once you've done that, it doesn't take long at all. With the spikes, try your best to keep either in the middle or on the area where they don't come out first, because otherwise you can get a nasty surprise. I think I misjudged this bit here. Yeah, I had a little spike, which meant that I could not get hit any other time, otherwise I'd have to restart there. So as you notice, that I waited for the spikes to come out so I can judge where I can move. This one, I was able to just have a little roll just to kind of outmaneuver the spikes. Once again, just keep an eye on the pattern. There we are. The next bit is actually an easier part of the level compared to the spikes, because the projectiles, you know, if you're rolling out the way, you can outrun them quite easily, but you don't want to roll too much on this level, and the reason why is there's there we are. So the projectiles coming up, if you get there too fast, when you jump over, you actually end up jumping into the projectiles, and to be honest, that's the only part of the level where they are. So yeah, from here you can start with that rolling again. Once again, like, as soon as you know it's clear, just get that rolling. It's yeah, and if you've got it set to hold, nice and easy just to kind of press that button, hold, and not think about it. This is another rotating part of the level. I actually went against the rotation on this because I actually made it easier to just cut the corners a bit, and then jumped on this one straight onto the other platform. And yeah, so these bits were easy enough to cross over, but from this bit I just sat it out, waited for the platforms to rotate until I could jump on the next one. I think this bit I just cut across a bit. It didn't, you know, it's only a little gap, but you can see that it's a bit awkward to get around the other one. I didn't want to risk it, especially with the whole platform rotating. I was going to just jump on it and wait. Doesn't really, you know, make much impact on your time, to be honest. And I think there's one more platform. Ah, yes, and then after this is where it gets quite tricky. For me personally, this is the hardest level. I mean, obviously everyone has their strengths and weaknesses. You need to just consistently roll, because obviously the platforms, once you've you know, gone on them, they will fall after a certain amount of time. And obviously the fish, they will spike you. And at this point, I couldn't get touched once. And there was actually one time when I got hit by the fish, and it stunned me enough for the platform to fall, and then I died anyway. So if you are struggling with this particular level, I would recommend just loading up the the level and just having a couple of times practice, because you can see here I'm at 7.5 minutes, and the last thing you want to do is get 7.5 minutes in and then restart. Yeah, so with this one, with the lasers, a bit easier than the previous one. You know, it starts off with no moving lasers. This one, they're not really in sync with each other, but once again, don't rush it. Just see where the lasers are going, jump over, and that's pretty much to it. With this one here, you want to go with the rotation of the laser, and don't jump if the laser's about to, you know, get to you. Otherwise, you might get caught off guard and land on one as you, obviously as you land. This bit here, wait for a nice clear opening and jump to the middle. Just wait for it to pass again and then continue forward. Nice and easy. With the fire one, this one's actually relatively easy because there's always a pattern with the fire. Whilst one set of platforms are on fire, the other ones aren't. So you can tell that, you know, as you're rolling or navigating through, if you're on one that's clear, the ones that are on fire, as soon as they die down, you know that they're safe to jump on. So just kind of take it easy. With this one, I waited for this because it was a nice stretch for me to roll across. Once again, keeping an eye on the timing of the fire. And this is another bit where I didn't really want to rush. I wanted to make sure that the main part where I was going to jump on was nice and clear. There we are. Yeah, jump over to the next one, jump back. Yeah, not really much to it. And then we get to the final part, which on the singular level was quite stressful because you had the checkpoint chasing you throughout the time trial. This one's a little bit more relaxed because the checkpoint is at the end and you're just casually strolling through, collecting some clocks, and that is giving you an extra time bonus. And put it into perspective, I started this last bit at 9 minutes and 5 seconds. I'm already at 8 minutes 50, and by the time I get to the end, I'm going to be at 8 minutes and 25 seconds. So I'm actually not gaining any time, I'm losing 40 seconds on my overall time. So don't rush it, be a little bit careful. I mean, this level is very simple, there's not much to it, but you know, if you get too excited, you might make a stupid mistake, and you don't want to go all the way to the beginning from getting so close. So you can see here, I'm just going all the way through. I'm not, you know, bothering with the 5-second bonuses. I just want to get to the end. And yeah, another chunk of clocks there. And you know, I could have got more by getting all of them, but I just wanted the gold. I had done the Ripsnorter so many times that yeah, I just wanted it over and done with. And there we have it. That is the Ripsnorter all done, and under 10 minutes. In fact, that is 1 minute and 35 seconds under 10 minutes. So very possible, and I, you know, didn't take many shortcuts. I took my time on quite a few of the levels as well. Just keep practicing and you'll have it done in no time. Just if you do get quite frustrated, have a little break, because otherwise you'll just make silly mistakes even on the easier levels. Anyway, hopefully this video has helped, and thank you very much for watching.